introduce Yukon Government Minister Ranj Pillai to the front for some closing remarks.
Good afternoon, everyone. I know we're just let people transition. I think there's probably coffee, washroom, checking in, handing off business cards, addresses, those types of things. In closing, I just want to a couple of comments. First of all, look, over the last 2 days, we've had the opportunity again to speak to so many people that have assembled here. My role was as Minister of Tourism and Culture, and it has been an absolute honor to be able to experience this event. Again, I think it's important to thank Kwanlin Dun First Nation for having the opportunity to spend time in this beautiful facility, and again to Tonkwatchin Council for us being on their traditional territory. Again, it's bittersweet. This has been absolutely incredible. I think for the folks that have attended the conference and the summit from across the world, you knew what you were coming back to. And what I will tell you from Yukoners that are here, they've been overwhelmed by what this conference is and just how significant it is and how amazing it is. So this is certainly, again, a moment for us for celebration and to reflect again on the knowledge gained and the partnerships formed. And what an absolutely incredible 3 days. Again, having connected with so many and experienced so much this week, the insights gained, again, are going to take us all a while to process. We set out with this summit to host artists, cultural leaders, policymakers, other representatives from across the Indigenous nations and Arctic countries of the circumpolar region in order to advance the knowledge, stories, and cultures of the North and to stimulate collaboration. The last 3 days have surpassed, again, my already high expectations in every possible way. Again, I'm grateful to have been able to take in so many captivating performances, powerful artwork, and absolutely fascinating discussions. On a personal note, I would just say the two things that really were incredible are, one, I know for many, you might find it, the policy conversations, this just brought together colleagues that I haven't met before. And so, of course, having all of the ambassadors here and having a chance for us to get together and talk about where we can build relationship was incredible. The same with the ministers who came from a number of different Nordic countries. And we already are planning meetings and MOUs and work together and how we're going to essentially build stronger ties. I mean, my last discussion was what can we get done right away and how do we visit each other again? And that's because of this conference. And, listening today from conversations at a national, global level in Spain where Minister Jolie was speaking, and I was thinking, what you're talking about on building relationships was happening in action right here in Whitehorse for the last number of days. So I thank you. The other thing I will mention is, and I know I saw Maria, and I wanted to I did not get a chance to meet her, but what I wanted to say is that my experience, and I'm probably the experience of many artists in this room, is that when you have big ideas and you have a vision to see something, sometimes it's difficult to get everybody on board and to bring people together to support your idea or concept. But it's, number one, so important to believe in yourself to do that and to continue to bring others together. And so it must be, I was just sitting, I know he's probably talking to some of the panelists from earlier, but I think about, it must be surreal to be sitting here and having that idea and making sure that you brought everybody together, and then it takes a life of its own. And this incredible beautiful conference comes together. And so I want to just thank her and her colleagues. Please tell her I said thank you for having that belief and that vision. And a hand to her and to those involved, please. And I know there's others in the room, and I know there's folks that came together and supported. And I can feel the story. I didn't have it passed on in detail, but I would say that I've seen that movie with different actors, but I know it was an incredible tale. Again, on behalf of the government of Yukon, our sincere gratitude to everyone who played a part in bringing this to life and this monumental event together. Each and every artist, presenter, organizer, you have made this event what it is, and we are endlessly grateful for your contributions and for taking this journey with us. And to our presenting partners, the Yukon Arts Centre, the Yukon First Nations Culture and Tourism Association, and to our numerous community partners, thank you for opening your venues and offering your skills and expertise to ensure this event was a success. And special thanks goes to Gunta Business, consulting again around the clock. Blair, Jesse, thank you. Amazing Indigenous-owned business, phenomenal entrepreneurs that pulled this all together and shared it with everybody. Thank you. You quite literally, we could not have, again, done this without you. And finally, to our co-host, the Canada Council of the Arts. Again, it's about people. Simon, Jesse, your team, these are good people. Good people, and as I said this morning, for Canadians that are here, we're in good hands with these folks, and I think, Jesse, you said it as well. The other amazing moment was, and I'm going to add to what you said, because I have to give kudos to Minister McLean, who believed in this with our tourism and culture staff. What we had happen at our opening was also we had an amazing Indigenous minister who led in this country on the murder and missing women's file, as well as many other things, who believed that we should stick to this and bring this conference here. And then, of course, had the Governor General come on stage as our first Indigenous Governor General, and then have you quoted 3 times from your book as the first chair. So I don't think that was all planned, but certainly was pretty symbolic of what, we were trying to educate folks on and to pass on. Again, to everyone, thank you. Tak, Kitos, Merci, Gunishchish, Masicho, Shoni Than, Nakumik. Thank you.
Thank you to you, Minister. Thank you to the government of Yukon. Thank you to the Kwanlindun Nation and the Ta'ankwa Cha'an Council to have welcomed us on your land. I have a few thank yous to say, and then I want to touch points about, what do we do next. So first, I want to thank one of my closest colleagues for a long time, who has been leading in this project on behalf of the Canada Council, Michel Chala. I would also like to thank the leadership committee of the summit for their respective teams, so Heather Iglio-Liot, Sophie Tremblay-Morissette, Alissa Procida, Sylvain Cornuau, and Stephen Love, and Sabra Ripley, Marion Vitrac, and Erit Corbett. Thank you for all the work you did. Thank you. I also obviously want to thank and congratulate Maria Utsi, our international consultant for this summit and the founder of the Arctic Arts Summit. So thank you, Maria. I would like to thank the fabulous curators, Renelta Arluk, Kathy Johnson, and Heather Igloriot for their incredible work, vision. I want to thank Charlene Alexander from Yukon First Nations Culture and Tourism, Cassie Prescott, and Mary Bradshaw from the Yukon Arts Center. I want to thank Gunta Business too, Jesse, Stephen, and Stephanie Peniquet for all the logistic of this summit. It was very well done, very impressive, very smooth. Thank you to all our partners who have given so much time and energy. You can see the full list of our partners on the back of the brochure. I want to also thank the many organizations in Canada and across the circumpolar north who have contributed to this in-person gathering, and also the digital program leading up to it, and the digital program that will follow this summit. And obviously, thank all of you for, believe that it was important and for coming here. Thank you. Now, what do we do? So just want to say a few things, because since the day one, when the name of Canada was evoked at the last summit, and Canada Council decided that, okay, we will play that role. We're not Canada, we're not the government of Canada, we are an arts council, but we had enough capacities to make it happen. And this is when we did ask proposals from the territories, because we definitely wanted to have it in the north for the first time. Because the other times it happened in the capital region, and we did not want a summit in Ottawa. We wanted it in the north, which was really the big call for action. And since day one, because it has been now 3 years in the making, our question is obviously when, and who will take charge for the fourth summit, because we need a fourth arts cultural summit. I don't have the answer to that question yet, but I just want to say that during the summit, we had many conversations with our friends from Norway, because this is where the summit happened for the first time with Maria. And we made an agreement between the Canada Council and Norway, the Ministry of Culture, that we would create some kind of a structure together in order to make sure that there will be a fourth summit and that there will be real follow-ups to this meeting. So we will announce all the details of that, but we have strong commitment, both from Norway and from the Canada Council, to make it happen. So we obviously will work, because in terms of the content and in terms of the organizing of all that, there's still work to do, and we will work with partners, and we're open to business to work with everybody from the circumpolar circle. I just want to conclude by by explaining something I discovered. I think I knew it more or less, but I kind of discovered during this summit, is the fact that we absolutely need to reinvent cultural diplomacy. For a very good reason. Cultural diplomacy is a kind of a soft power that is really important, that has been developed and controlled by state nations. But the problem for a lot of our state nations, their problem or their opportunity, is that each of those state nations have many nations into the state nations. The case in Canada, it's a case in other countries. And we think that this push for kind of an intentional ignorance of the frontiers and the boundaries for the circumpolar circle means that we need to have a different kind of a cultural diplomacy directly from nations to nations. So not from state nations to state nations, but from nations to nations, and obviously with the indigenous nations. And I think a lot of that happened over the last few days. I think we need to continue that. And this is why, for us, it's so important to make sure that there will be a fourth summit, that we will also develop the necessary financial instruments to make sure that in this large circle, there are no barriers for nations to nations relationships, from communities to communities relationship. So I just want to end, because I will ask Jesse to talk, to say that nothing can happen if we don't find ways to work, not only at the level between institutions and nations, but also between individuals. And I think that the fact that it took kind of 3 years because of the pandemic to finally have this summit was a bad thing, but also a very good thing, because everybody who worked on this, everybody trying to organize the panels, all that, we had more time to discuss, debate, figure this out, knowing each other, building relationships that are now strong and that nobody will be able to break. So thank you.
Oh, I very much like it when the CEO talks about diplomacy between First Nations and the state. That is moving in the right direction, I have to say. So I want to express my gratitude and thanks and my humility at all of you for coming here, all of the organizers, the curators, the artists who've participated in this extraordinary event. I hope this is a real change-making moment where we can look at a new way to work in the future, a new way to support the artists here on their own terms. I wanted to also take this moment, Simon and I had talked about, these closing remarks reflecting on some of the things we heard, and I did want to comment on something I heard in this very hall here yesterday when the state representatives were up here discussing, and the representative here for Canada pointed to me as my roles as both chair of the Canada Council and co-executive director of the Indigenous Screen Office as an example of the fine work being done here in Canada around Indigenous arts. And I didn't know quite what to think when that happened. And then I went outside and I met with my partner in crime, Carrie Swanson, who I don't know if she's in the room, and she said that it reminded her of something she often faces, which is people tend to believe that when it comes to the Indigenous Screen Office, that somehow I have done everything at the Indigenous Screen Office, which is just not true. The Indigenous Screen Office is where it is today because of Carrie Swanson, not because of Jessie Wente and all of the work that she does, but because occasionally I have the deeper voice, I'm taller, I take up more space in all the ways that could be decided, people assume that I have done it. But that is not true. I'm community-made, not self-made, and so is the Indigenous Screen Office. And so I guess I just wanted to also say that it's also true that just because a colonial government appoints very qualified Indigenous people to high-profile positions in 2020, that isn't necessarily the win that they think it is. I think that perhaps we should see it as a long time coming and very delayed rather than a celebration of necessarily something that's moving. And I want to make it clear that I, and Simon can attest to this, I certainly don't view my position in any of the roles that I play as there to absolve the government of anything. I think quite the opposite, in fact. And I also wanted to just say, because I know there was this incredible panel of young people up here before, and I don't know if any of them were in that room when the government was saying that, but I just want to say to you, don't let that discourage you from taking these leadership positions, because that was their thing. That is not our thing. What they believe is what they believe. When I left this hall, I'm surrounded by community who knows me very well and knows what I'm all about. So I don't want you ever to be discouraged just because they may want to put you outside like the cigar store Indian for look but no words. But you do not have to play that part ever. And you deserve everything you get. You work hard. You deserve to be in these leadership positions. And I will always be there to support you and make sure that you never have to pay attention to stuff like that. And you should know that when they said that, that's what I did. I don't need that validation, because the validation comes from my community outside. And so in the spirit of that and Simon's words, some of the things I would love to think about is, I heard fascinating questions to that very panel that they didn't answer about the connection between culture and climate change. We need answers to this, about what this looks like. About a fascinating question about why Sami language content is geo-blocked in colonial borders. Why is that? That doesn't make any sense, and that's something easy to solve. Why we must make sure that our funding accommodates travel in the north, which can be quite expensive, and is not the fault at all of the people that live here or the nations that have existed here forever. Travel was cheap before colonialism up here. You just had to prepare for it a little much, and no one lost their luggage. So I'd encourage all my colleagues at the arts funding bodies, the government officials that were here, all of the ones at the arts institutions, to take the message that it is time that we change the nature of our work to better serve the communities we are meant to be serving. And that means all communities that we are meant to be serving, not the ones that look like us or stare back at us from the mirror, but especially the ones when you fly over this country that you miss when they're down there. And that's, I hope, the message. This has been an event of great hope for me. So I don't want any nonsense that occurs on this stage to dampen the remarkable work that was put into this conference and what will come out of this, because it will be transformational when we come out of this. And to all my First Nations, Métis and Inuit cousins, my Sami cousins, yeah, it's all going to come back. We'll all have it all back. Just be patient. Know that those countries that don't talk about decolonization today, they'll talk about it tomorrow. And they'll do that because we will force them to. Remember that a lot of the things that have come about, these good changes that have existed, are because of our work to make them happen. Rarely do the governments just give so kindly to us. We work hard to make these changes happen. We work hard to make sure we are represented in these institutions, and it is our right to run these institutions and to have control over culture in this country. The past is over. It's lost with the luggage. We're not going to get it back. So it's time that we create a new bag that we carry forward with us, a new pack, a new blanket that we put on our shoulders and carry forward. That isn't the one of the past. So I hope that's what this conference can spark. I want everyone to know how much I am very proud of all of you, and my spirit and my heart is full. I will leave some tobacco behind as thanks. So I hope you have a great rest of the conference. Enjoy the art crawl, all the food, all the incredible programming, and miigwech, 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 chi miigwech for coming. Thank you.
I would like to now invite Kwanlin Danasho and Smith to the front for our closing prayer.
When I was asked to first come here on Monday, and I did a prayer at the beginning with my elder from Taan Quechan, and it felt really good because this is what we're trying to show you, what it's like to work together. For all of us to get something for this. The amount of work that for us to get to where we are today, it was a lot. And I still have to be very thankful for the elders from the past. They were the ones that did it for us. And they led us into today. And also they will lead us into the future. That's the kind of work that was done in the past. And that's how we were able to do it. I just wanted to say thank you for visiting our homeland. And I will do a prayer to close the meeting and also to send you in a good way. Kunchish. I pray to the Great Spirit, grandfather, grandmother. We ask you today to help us as we start to return home. We ask for your guidance. We ask for your protection. So all the people that has come here will be able to make it home in a good way. I pray, Creator, that in the future, that we will always work together to create this beautiful circle around our Mother Earth. So that we can talk to each other, to visit each other, to share our knowledge, to share our ways of helping each other, to share our ways of supporting each other. I pray for all the ones that are going through a hard time. Creator, grandfather, grandmother, I ask you to watch over them. I ask you to watch over our children. I pray, Great Spirit, that we will get all the help that we need around this world for the children. I pray, Creator, for this to happen, to help our future generations, the seven generations. That's our plan. It's one of the plans. I thank you, Great Spirit, for this beautiful land, for what you have given to us as a beautiful gift. I pray for our mountains, our beautiful water, the streams that come down the mountains, and the water that flows through our country. I pray, Great Spirit, that all these beautiful gifts will be here for future generations. I pray it will be here for 7 generations and the ones that are yet to come. I thank you, Creator, for all the hard work that our people did for this meeting. It's so much appreciated. I know that delegates really enjoyed themselves, and that was pretty awesome to see. I thank you, Creator, for this day. And I pray that we will have a safe evening and a good rest tonight. Until next time, we see each other again. Kunchi's Great Spirit, Kunchi's grandfathers, Kunchi's grandmothers. Thank you.
Shonithan Esho and Smith for a closing prayer. Just a couple things before we end. The shuttle is officially full, so if you're leaving tomorrow and you weren't booked on the shuttle for tomorrow morning, you need to phone a cab, and I would phone it very early because you have to be at the airport very early. And also, when we're done, go check out the stage after. I hope you enjoy the festival that's happening right after this. The gallery is now open. Shanke Lu Campbell and I've been so grateful to be here with you guys. I see more faces that have been coming as the night has, or the day has been ending. Enjoy your time in the Yukon. Enjoy the beautiful weather. I hope you made awesome connections. That's it.